Police are looking for armed robbers involved in a violent smash-and-grab robbery at a jewelry store in El Monte.
The burglars enter through the roof, then cut their way in from a neighboring business.
Thieves burst in, smashed the display cases, and shoved workers to the ground.
Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of merchandise gone.
Hi, I'm Mark Smelzer, Chief Content Executive at the Jewelers Mutual Group, and it's my honor to moderate this 5-part series on jewelry crime. We have an esteemed panel of 3 experts: John Kennedy, President of the Jewelers Security Alliance. From Canada, we have Kelly Ross, Managing Director of Jewelers Vigilance Canada. And representing the retail side, we have Michael Richards, Vice President of Underwood's Jewelers in Jacksonville, Florida, and the former President of the American Gem Society. We'll discuss in the first episode the overall state of crime. In the next 3 episodes, we'll discuss specific types of crimes. And in the 5th episode, we will discuss the emotional impact of crime. After each episode, we'll post a list of further resources. And we truly hope that you find these videos informative and helpful. John, Kelly, and Michael, thank you very much for being here for yet another episode in our crime awareness series. This episode is on jewelry store burglaries specifically. So as we've done with the other episodes, John, would you like to kick us off with what specifically a burglary is versus the other kinds of thefts we've been talking about?
Burglary would occur when the store is closed and someone enters the premises without permission and with the intention of committing a crime, removing product, etc. And we've seen somewhat of a change of the methods that the burglars are using in the last year or 2 years and whatnot. While we've always seen them coming from the roof and coming from the sidewalls, now we're seeing that they play around a lot with the power boxes. They try to disable your power and your alarm system through the power box. And so that's something that's been not new, but has exploded in the last year or 2. And we think that there are certain gangs that are committing these crimes, gangs that do it across the country.
Interesting. Kelly, what are you seeing in Canada on the burglary side?
Yeah, so we've actually been in a lull as it relates to burglaries or break-and-enters for some time. We're now starting to see an increase in them, particularly the ones that John's just talking about there, where the more sophisticated rooftop or side entry attacks, where there's been a dedicated effort into defeating either alarm or electrical systems. The ones we had been seeing, through pandemic and even post-pandemic, if we can say that now, were more of the opportunistic type of break and enter. So a criminal or a couple of criminals will be walking past the store and they happen to see merchandise left in a showcase, and so they just smash through the front door, smash the display case, and make off with the jewelry, rather than the more sophisticated ones I was mentioning earlier.
Michael, I think, was it in our pre-conversation that you were telling us about having to go and sit in front of your store after something like this happened? I mean, what has been your experience with robberies?
Most recently, we've been seeing the type that John was describing, where they cut the power supply. And we actually have had one of our managers in the last 2 years respond to one of those calls. And we were able to see the person turning our power off when he got there on our video camera. Before it was cut off, which is the good news of that story is we alerted our local network and they got caught the next night doing the same thing about 45 minutes away. But the story you're referring to is, I described the situation in which someone broke through our front door several years ago. And it was late in the night, 2 a.m. And I responded to the call. The police are here. They check the building. Everything's secure. And then they leave. The police don't have the luxury of hanging out and babysitting me all night. So I'm sitting there for the next several hours with no front door in a, pretty scary environment, to say the least. Can't set the alarm again. and it's just me in the store.
Kelly, what top tips do you give your retailers of what to do to prevent these type of crimes?
So on a lot of these cases, the individuals involved are going to check out the store in advance. And so I always advocate being hyper vigilant to that. And, looking for the person that looks at a place and then reporting it. It's not enough just to spot it, but call the local police. It may not be a crime in progress. It might not be that you actually had an event happen, but it's important to provide that. And if they ask for it and you've got it, give them the photo stills of the individual as well, or individuals as well, because there's a very good chance your hunch is correct and they've already been involved in something else. Not unlike what Michael was talking about earlier with their network sending information around. So that's the first thing I would advocate. Then the second thing is be conscious of things changing throughout the year. We're as you move into the holiday season, sometimes good big placards go up and stuff like that. And you got to be conscious on how that might affect your security cameras, your alarm systems and things like that. You might not get the best views anymore. You might not have the same ability, or they might not capture the same information as they did before. So just be very conscious of that as well.
Great. John, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I have a number of things. Number one, that you should be putting your product away in your safe or vault overnight. And if you can't fit it all in that safe or vault, which you should be able to do, put the low-end product out of sight. Put it in a locked drawer, put it in a locked closet, put it somewhere, not in the showcases, because that's just a magnet for criminals to come in. And don't cover the showcases under any circumstances with cloths or covers that you think will somehow make you more safe, because it makes you more dangerous because they think something valuable is there. So don't do that.
Fascinating.
I would say that you must have, and this is a big piece of advice, and most people don't have it yet, have a very significant amount of backup power in case your main source of power is cut. In other words, have 72 hours of backup power, which is very cheap. We're talking hundreds of dollars. We're not talking about a huge amount of money that can keep your systems going if you have a power cut at the box, at your electrical box. Very important.
So you can literally have a generator in your store that, is between the power cut and the...
It's a battery power, not generator. Battery.
Oh, okay.
A battery power. Significant battery power. Talk to your alarm company about it. I would say that you must have a decent safe, okay? Mm-hmm. TL15 safes, UL rated TL15 and TL30 safes are not going to protect you from the burglars who are out there. They are going to cut into those safes without any trouble, and they'll do it quickly. But you must respond to all notices from your alarm company, not just that there's an alarm condition, but that there's a power interruption, there's a communication failure, something's going on. If there's something going on at your store, it's bad. It's bad. You don't know what it is, but it's going to be bad. So somebody's got to respond in some way, okay? Even if it's that manager in the middle of the night or the assistant manager in the middle of the night. Also, line security. You must have line security on your alarm system, it's a system where the alarm is polled, and if somehow the alarm is cut, it sends a signal. And it's important to have line security. And also you must have protection on all parts of your store. They're coming in the ceiling, they're coming in the bathroom window, they're coming in from the sidewalls. You have to have protection everywhere, whether it's sound or however you're going to do it. You must have protection from all sides of your premises, and to get protection.
One of you mentioned in a pre-conversation that there was an empty store next to a jewelry store, and it was just like so obvious that they could just go right in through that wall.
Very common that if you have an empty store next to you, you are under even increased risk as a jeweler. I'll leave it at that. You can take steps, you can have extra cameras, you can try to do all kinds of things, or talk to the landlord, whatever you're going to do. But it doesn't even have to be an empty store. If you have like an unalarmed shoe store next to you, you're at risk. Or a pizza place that's not alarmed. They're going to go into that pizza place or go into that shoe store, and then they're coming into your store and through the sidewall. And also do not have your safe on an outside wall or sidewall. Have it someplace that's not accessible from the outside. Otherwise, they can cut through and they'll just go right into the safe without coming into the premises from the back. So,
Crazy.
you know, where you place the safe is very important.
Good things to think about. Good things to think about. All right, well, gentlemen, that's time on this episode. Thank you all for participating and your wise advice. And viewers, we will put a set of links up immediately following this where you can go for more information.